What it is, y'all, it's your old boy Pilk, and I'm coming back with more Danmachi. Now, I haven't really talked about these anime banners much, and I know you guys have a lot of questions about these, so let's have a quick video to discuss what's going on here. Now, first things first, the one thing I really like is that when these banners drop, they give you a multi for free. So we're going to do our first multi right now. And if you haven't done yours, I know these dropped yesterday, but for whatever reason, you haven't done yours either, go ahead and click the button right now. I'm going to count down from 3. We'll hit gotcha, and we'll do this together and see if we can get some, some luck. But 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's go. Now, should you summon on these banners? That's an interesting question. So I'm sure you guys have noticed I'm pretty low on Iris. I've got 1,000 Iris. Obviously, we just went into we just got done with the final banners for the anniversary and all that stuff. And those being time limited units, I always say you do want to prioritize the time limited units. So when it comes to choosing what to hit, if you have to forego these first few anime banners for one of the time-limited banners, I totally stand by that. I think that's a wise choice. These units are probably pretty good. In fact, we know they're pretty good. But here's the deal. You're going to have more than your fair share of opportunities to grab these units, especially if you're free to play or, maybe not a complete whale. You just are somebody who maybe throws 20, 30 bucks at the game every once in a while. As much as these units may be pretty good, I firmly believe there's absolutely no harm in skipping at least some of these. Now, we do know some of these units are going to be really good. So let's look at Mikoto right away and kind of make our decision based on that. Okay? Now, some of the other anime banners are still here. I think Bella actually just went away. So we'll address the banners that are here. So what does Mikoto do? If we go down here, her skill 1 is a faux singular super wind magic attack with temporary great magic boost and ultra on guard rate. Now, here's the deal with this, guys. The only time you're really ever going to use that on this unit is if you're taunted in War Game, and even then it's not going to be like a substantial hit. If you've heard me talk about the anniversary units, we have so many of the anniversary units that have a percentage boost on their third skill, which makes them good not just in War Game but also in Record Buster and just about every other event out there. Those units are going to have a lot of longevity. Those units are going to be very good for a lot of different purposes. Mikoto, I don't see that with. Now, let's talk about her skill 2. Okay, skill 2 is a foes plural fast super wind magic attack with ultra and counter rate, physical resist, and magic resist down 35%, which is very nice. Self-magic dex, wind attack damage up 70%. So it's a great skill. It basically is going to reduce physical and magic resistance, so you can use basically a mixed team of physical and magic very effectively, which is very, very nice. And she gives herself a 70% boost on wind, which is very substantial. Her third skill then becomes more of like a support skill. It is a slow status buff plus 3 turns, self, and that's for all allies. It is a slow skill, so it happens at the end of the turn, which where you kind of want it anyway. Self, null 2 physical attacks, and then 3 actions mid-wind magic attack here on foes. Now, that's a very expensive skill. 137 MP, that's not a skill you're going to get off all of the time. And the one thing that kind of irks me about this is you're kind of hiding her extra actions through an MP wall here. Now, she does not boost her own strength, so she would need... I'm sorry. She does not boost her own... She's magic, right? Yeah. So she doesn't boost her own magic. So you need somebody on the team that boosts magic. She doesn't boost her own... Well, no, I take it back. No, she does magic, dex, and wind attack 70%. My apologies. I thought she just did wind and dex. So she actually does boost her own magic, which is nice. But she doesn't get any percentage boosts on that. She doesn't really do anything. And if you want to get the extra actions, you've got to basically, save and restore MP so that periodically you can hit this. But you're not going to be able to do this very often. So she's not going to get her extra actions very often. Her second skill is a nice spamble skill. It's everything you need in one. But honestly, she's going to be struggling to keep pace with a lot of units. Now, the fact that she does reduce physical and magic resist is a really good skill. So if you wind up getting one of her, she's going to be an excellent sack for a lot of purposes. That's about her only use. So worst case scenario, she's kind of a one and done character. Now I could hit her banner, get one of her, and then have that unit. But I think there's other units I have that would at least be on par or acceptable. for that purpose. So I'm not really worried about that. So for me, I think Mikoto's a hard pass. Now, let's look at her essay. Foes, plural, ultra-weird magic attack, damage plus 100% per each self dex buff skill. So she has to have a dex buff on the assist side. Now, hear me out. If that was 100% per each magic buff skill or each wind buff skill, I would say this is a no-brainer. That's a crazy good skill. But you have to buff dex. And while there are enough assists that buff dex, I'd have to go look at the different units that are in play, but I'm willing to bet a lot of the older units don't do that, and you're going to have somebody pretty current to make sure you're buffing dex. It's not something that commonly we would have buffed back in the day. So most likely she's only going to get the 100%. She's not going to get the full 200% for having that both on the adventure and the assist side. So that's another kind of ding. Now, she does do physical and magic resist down 50%, which is good. I would prefer that to be magic and wind resist down 50%, but it is what it is. So if you're using her on a mixed team, there is a major benefit to her. But that's kind of her primary use. So for me, in this circumstance, I'm going to say most of you guys can probably skip a Mikoto. The one exception would be if you really need somebody to sack for both a physical and magic resistance. But as far as the DPS goes, nah. Now, Lily. Lily's an interesting situation here. Now, Lily goes away, Wednesday, which means Belle's probably gone. Yeah, it looks like Belle is gone. Now, I don't remember what Belle does, but it's kind of a moot point here. So, Lily, in case you want to summon on her, and if you have not done your first summon, her first summon would be free as well. But, you know, I'm sitting here on, we did our first summon on Tuesday, or say Sunday. We did our first summon on the banner on Sunday. That's how little I really care about these anime units popping up when we've got time-limited units that are just ripe for the picking. And I do feel like those time-limited units are mostly the meta going forward. If you've watched any video I've made, basically since the anniversary last year, we have abused that water team that dropped during the anniversary, and I kind of feel like that's going to be the story with the current units. I think the unit teams that we build during the anniversary are really going to be like the best teams, or not, if not the absolute best teams, a good overall team that can clear lots and lots of things. From here going forward for basically until recently, after the fifth anniversary or fourth anniversary last year, an AOE water team would guarantee you top 500 in Record Buster. I bet not today, but you could just take a regular AoE water team and still get a top 500 in Record Buster. That's how crazy good they were. That's how valuable they were. And how when sometimes those untime limited banners dropped last year, I was like, I'm going to skip it personally. But let's look at Lily, okay? Lily's first skill is a foe's singular high water magic attack. Damage 40% per each target's agility reduction skill. So this is another one of those that's like, but hear me out. The whole reason that she's got this is because she's designed basically to be taunted. What's going to happen is in war games, she's going to get taunted, she's going to get stuck in a single target attack, and she's only going to be attacking the taunter. So if you debuff their agility on both the adventure and the assist side, this becomes an 80% hit. It's not the greatest hit in history, but it's going to be a substantial hit against most anybody in Wargame. She won't be the best in Record Buster, and I talked about that, versus some of the other units that we saw on the time limited side that got like 80% boosts. So that's not going to be a thing. But that's really what that skill is designed for. So she's actually quite good in that regard. Okay. Her second skill, skill 2, is a foe's plural mid-water magic attack with ultra and guard rate, penetration rate, and water resist down 40%, which is nice. A self-water attack damage 70% for 4 turns, and 3 additional actions, mid-water magic attack, and status buff plus 2 on all allies plus 2 turns. So great skill there. Lily is one of those that is going to be very, very good for a long time. The only thing that I worry about with Lily is she's on the water team. And since water's been so strong and so dominant for so long, I feel like that team's not going to get a huge amount of buffs for a little bit. That's kind of the way these things tend to go. Teams get a lot of love during the anniversary. They're good. They're dominant for like a certain amount of time. And then they start to fall off. And then, they rightfully focuses on a couple other teams. Like Earth and Light right now seem to be their big ones. So if she were like an Earth or Water unit, I'd say 100% this unit's a no-brainer. But I said Earth or Water. Earth or Light unit, she'd be a no-brainer. The fact that she's Water makes her a little bit... Don't get me wrong, the Water team is still exceptionally good. You can clear a lot of events with a Water team from the anniversary last year, but the vast majority of people are looking for units that are going to keep up with the meta. And I kind of feel like she's not quite going to be on that par. Sucks, but it's just the way it works. Okay? Her skill 3 is a foe's plural, fast, physical resist, and magic resist, and counter rate, and guard rate, and heal down 35%. Now that's a great debuff skill. So if you have one of her, she's going to be a phenomenal unit in Wargame, a phenomenal sack, and basically you can come out of the gate with this really good, it's going to be a fast skill. Odds are you'll get that debuff off hopefully before you hitch it. Now with a rush team, they're going to take you out like immediately. But if you've got one of her, in most circumstances, you'll get all those debuffs off. She'll do what she needs to do. She'll get, kind of clobbered and then, taken off the field. But that's a great skill. But to me, that's a one and done. Now, in fairness, because she also does allies, strength, magic, counter rate, guard rate, and heal rate plus 35%. So, I do feel like that's a great skill. And the main reason that I do think she's going to be really, really, really good as a slower unit, is because if you come up against another Lily, you want your Lily to go off after the other Lily because you want to debuff what they just buffed. It won't matter. I guess it really is kind of a no point because it's not like a debuff remove, or it's not like a complete debuff. You're not swiping the buffs back. So I guess actually I take that back. It doesn't really make that much of a difference. It doesn't matter if you debuff before or after the other one. I'm just spitballing ideas here. But the honest answer is her skill 3 is kind of her best skill. Now, she'll be good, but will she be substantial? Will you say in, 2 months' time, man, I'm really glad I got that Lily and not the new Finn or, I don't know, I don't say Galamus, but Elmina or someone like that. Will I be happy that I forwent a bond or two in the anniversary to get this one Lily? And the answer is probably not. So honestly, I would say, for the most part, you probably want to steer clear of these banners. Now, the nice part is, according to the live stream, we're done with the anniversary. Anniversary banners are gone. So maybe starting next week, if you've got a little bit of Iris, you might want to start thinking about that. And I apologize I didn't cover this yesterday. I really meant to, but the big Pokemon project really was prudent. I had people relying on me to get that one out. And so I really should have dropped this video yesterday. But going forward, we're going to talk about this every week when the new stuff drops. And that'll be our Before You Summon video, more or less. Unfortunately, the downside is we don't generally get the information until after the banner drops. So I'm going to close this up by doing my daily multi, guys. Don't forget about this. This is really substantial. I mean, basically, we have a daily multi. Ooh, look at that. We're going to need a 4-star. We have a daily multi every day. And if you really think about it, we get an extra multi once a week. So it's really, really, really awesome. So I don't want to take too much away from those banners, but I do want to say, honestly, for me, I'm waiting. I'm going to wait at least 2 more weeks, see what happens with the current stuff. They have said we're probably done with banners, and I'm a little shocked we got 2 banners for the anniversary. But, ooh, let's see what this 4-star is. It is Hyacinthos. I was going to say, is it Hyacinthos? I think that's the one from the from War Games, so he's ancient at this point. So, yeah, that's the thing. So I'm going to close it out there, guys. Let me know what you thought in the comments section down below. If you disagree, let me know why in the comments. But personally, I would say for the vast majority of players that aren't just going crazy and wailing on every banner that comes out, you probably just want to chill. And for the few people that are like kind of mad that they're doing this side by side, don't forget they are giving us a free multi on this. It is optional. You don't have to hit those you don't have to hit every single banner that comes out. You could make choices. Plenty of people have posted in the comments, I've got 30,000-40,000 Iris, because what they did is they stopped hitting banners for 2 months, saved their Iris, and went like that. So you don't have to hit every banner. Honestly, I've skipped tons of banners. And most of the time, I'm better for it. Sometimes I have a month or two deficit, but we always pick it back up. So that's why I always say focus on the time limited. Don't worry about the non-time limited unless it's a really crazy unit, and that'll let you guys know it is. But for now, that's going to be the video. Let me know your thoughts down below, and I'll catch you all in the next one.